Yeah, my first attribute, I would say independent learning. I feel that the communication with the lecturer and stuff, it's not like he knows you on a personal basis unless you're going to them a lot. So it's not like you're in a small classroom in college where your teacher knows you full well and then coming into a big hall with the lecturer and, having one lecturer there. I did, make sure I did my own learning, catch up with the lecture notes, do the exercise sheets, the coursework, because no one's going to spoon feed you. It's all down to yourself. So yeah, it was hard at first, but then I did gradually develop that. In university, you have to plan your way through all the way through the 3 years, and you have to be very organized because there is so much to do. So what I obviously have to do is look at my timetable, see all my lectures and tutorials, obviously attend them and make sure I've understood them, and then in my spare time, have a breather, do my extracurricular stuff, for instance, and then the rest of the time, if I have tasks to complete from any of the modules, and then, space out equal time to each of those modules so that I don't fall behind and that I'm making steady progress in all the modules. You have students here who are international students who've come from, all sorts of countries, and you might not have mixed with that kind of background and those kind of people. So it was very fascinating, and it was very nice to see all that because we have lots of different societies for, different kind of cultures. When you make friends and you communicate with people in your course, in your classes, they were all from different backgrounds and you talk to them and stuff. It makes you feel like, you're in a different world because there's so many courses, so many students in this big university, and you have all that. There was one module which I picked this year in my final year. It was called Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And that module required group work. It was coming up with a new business venture and coming up with a new idea out there, and you have to develop a business plan on that, and you have to do a presentation on it. So that was what each group had to do. We all had to rely on each other. We all had to communicate on a regular basis. We all had to set times. I was obviously the leader, the team leader of my group. So that was more of my responsibility of having the meetings and communication and making sure everything's progressing. It was a lot of pressure because you have a deadline to meet. You have other priorities. You have other modules to concentrate on. You've got your personal things to look at. So, having all that into consideration, you have to give a lot of time to this because even though this was one module, but it required a lot of time compared to other modules because of the content it contained and a lot of things that went with it regarding group work.